close to Sao Paulo. Oh, that's your remote.
Clicker. Yeah.
And we work together. We work together at Rovio. So when I was in Finland, Andre joined in Finland. And then both of us moved back to our home country. So I came back to India. I'm working remotely from here. Andre works from Brazil. And today's talk is about the art of attraction, which means like how to create visuals for mobile games. So plenty of knowledge about how you should approach making stylistic decision choices for your game. Over to you, Andre.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. First of all, thank you for Shiraj and IGDC organization to having me here. It's a really amazing opportunity to be here sharing a little bit some ideas, some concepts, some thoughts with you guys. And as Shiraj already said, like we will talk a little bit about visual styles, okay, in mobile gaming industry. But first, I would like to introduce myself. So, namaste. As Shiraj said, my name is Andre Rocha. I came from Brazil. It's a little bit far from here. I have a beautiful family, 2 daughters and a beautiful wife. This is a little bit of my background. Nowadays, I live in a city called Londrina. It's here in the corner top left corner. And there are like images from other cities. Brazil is like pretty big country, similar as India, so you can experience like a lot of different things from the northeast with like beautiful beaches and historical cities. Also like places that you can even, with some luck, get some snow. Also like some other passions, I love to sing. Painting is one of my passions. I'm a teacher there in Brazil as well, teaching visual arts. And I wanted to put there like one of the favorite games that I have. One is Alex Kidd, the first game that I finished, and the Hollow Knight, which is like I have a really passion. I'm really looking forward for the Silk Song. So it seems that will never will be released. Let's see. Cool. So before joining the gaming industry, I worked in several different industries. Like from I had some time in my career doing some illustration for children books. I worked in advertisement as well, but just before joining the game industry, I was working in animation industry there in Brazil. More specifically, in the doing TV shows. So here are some of the shows that I was able to work with. There's a just recently launched series called Astronauta. It's been released in the HBO Latin America, and like there are a bunch of other projects here. One of the main IP in Brazil is called Monica and Friends. It's something around these characters. So basically, the other projects that I was involved with also has some relation with this IP. There is something that it's interesting to mention here about the style variety. We will go deep on that later, but as you can see, bunch of styles, different styles, projects that had different audiences. So it's visual style is like a kind of subject that I always like to explore. Cool. Oh, this button. Okay. So after working in the animation industry, I had the opportunity to join Rovio. It was where I met Shiraj. Shiraj is my art director since then and my mentor, so it's been always like a pleasure to work with him and learn from him. The first project that I got involved there was Angry Birds Tennis. It was like arcade sport game. It was really, really an amazing first project to be involved with. We were like a quite small team. We worked with an outsourced team to develop all the 3D pipeline. But basically, I was responsible to both create the visual style and do the concepts, and also kind of art lead the outsourced studio. After that, I had the chance to work in another project called Hard Hat Squad. In this project, I was more involved to develop the characters, but here as well, like I had some opportunities to work in the environment as well. So yeah, it was really a great experience having worked in these projects. A lot of learnings, a lot of things that I can say that today I got from these two experiences. We had some other internal projects as well, but basically related to game. It's just about that. Then I joined Moonactive. Again, following Shitter's steps, there was like a moment. Actually, between Moonactive and Rovio, I had a short experience in a Finnish studio called Savage. I don't know if you know this studio. The studio got, at some point, got into PlayStation studios. They were acquired by PlayStation, but at that time, it was not like this moment about the acquisition. I was there before the acquisition. And then I joined Moonactive. Well, you might know Moonactive by Coinmaster, which is like the biggest project there, like one of the most profitable games in the market nowadays. And apart from Coinmaster, Moonactive has a bunch of other projects. And my project is here, which means I cannot speak and talk about my project. Unfortunately, I would love to share here like all the process, all the things. Maybe next year, Shirish, like we can have like a talk here together to share a bit about the process. But yeah, for now, it's a non-disclosure project. That's why I came here to bring this topic, which is related to visual style exploration. This is a kind of subject, as I said, that always intrigued me since I was, I don't know, drawing for advertisement, or even when I started to work in animation, especially when I started to work in animation. I always had in my mind this thing about, like, okay, I'm working here in this project, but it seems like I need to follow some rules here, right? Like, it's not just about doing what I like to do. The end of the day is not about my style. It's the project style, right? And by working with this mentality, I learned that I need to be flexible. I need to understand my place in the project development, right? So we'll go deep on that subject today. I assume that I'm speaking to most of artists here. Maybe some artists are already working in a studio. Some of you maybe want to join into the industry. So basically, I want to share with you some talks about how we need or we should understand the styles and how we need to adapt, align our expectations about that. Cool. So I want to start with a metaphor, okay? Imagine that you enter a store, whatever store, and then in that store, you will be surrounded by many options. Maybe you went to that store for some specific reason. For example, I came to here and I wanted to buy an iPhone 16. So like I had it in mind, like I will not like buy an Android or anything else. But maybe you entered a store because, I don't know, you were like along with someone else. And then, as I said, you are surrounded about many options. And then maybe you will get some attention from, something will grab your attention, basically. So the thing is, what drives you to buy something? What captures your attention? And how this thing capture your attention? There are many factors that can drive a consumer to buy a product, okay? We can say that you are there in the store, and maybe the factors that will drive you to connect and buy something are the psychological effect. So maybe is a feeling of a need. For example, I don't know why, I feel that I need an iPhone 16. I don't need it, really. But, you know, like, I'm driven by this feeling that, oh my goodness, I start to create reasons to have that. For example, maybe you feel that you need a new console. The good thing of working in a gaming industry that we can use the excuse to buy new consoles because of like research or reference, you know? So we'll feel a little bit less guilty to spend money or buying consoles or buying games. Maybe it's something related to desire. So in this realm of psychological factors, there are many others, right? But maybe it's something related to social factors. Maybe you want to buy this thing because someone else bought, because there is like a trend in the TikTok now, you saw the product there or any other social media, and to feel more like part of the group, you feel that, okay, I want to buy this product. Maybe it's something related to cultural aspect, you know, like some belief or even some subculture. Maybe, for example, you like, I don't know, hip hop, and there are like products that are aligned to this niche, aligned to this group. And maybe it could be something related to economic aspect. Maybe you have like the idea that, okay, the cost benefit is good, so I will buy it. Or maybe it's something related to your income level. It's something that, okay, I can spend like this amount. Even if I don't necessarily need this product, I want to buy. So, I mean, there are many other factors. We could like go deeply in that subject as well. Like, but it's not the point today. The point today, among these all factors, there is one that is important for us, artists, that is perception. Perception plays an important role when we are talking about product. Until here, I'm not specifically talking about games or about like what we do. I'm talking about product and motivations in general, okay? Usually people say that don't judge a book by the cover, but we judge, right? Like we say that, but it's not true. Like, because usually when you go there, buy a book, come on, you will see that well done design book with like some cool typography. So yeah, you will be engaged to at least look at the back of the book and you will want to know more about the story. So let's focus on perception. So perception, as I put here, perception increase the perception of quality, right? It's common that when you see a product that it's well designed, has the correct colors, has the correct layout, you want to buy it. I will use Apple again, but Apple has that, right? Or at least they have been trying to do that. Like these minimalists, these kind of things, they will convince you that okay to pay 3 times more for a MacBook than like a notebook. But there is something around that, right? I mean, I know that like you can pay a much better notebook using the price of the MacBook, but it's a different topic. Perception also conveys trust, you know? The same way when you look at the product that is well developed, well done, you believe. And in the terms of believing, I want to connect with something that Alvaro brought yesterday about brand connection. Brand connection is around that as well. When you have something attached to a specifically brand, these convey trust as well, right? You feel that, okay, I know that brand. And actually, when you look at this concept of brand, when you have brands in different products, just because the brand, you believe in the product. So Disney can do movies, but Disney can do toys, and Disney can do comics. And because of the Disney label, you will trust on that product, okay? Perception creates emotional connection, right? Maybe by looking at the product, you will remember something from the past. Oh my goodness, I remember like eating this candy, or playing this game, or having this console. So it's something that gets you back in the memory, and that creates this emotional connection. Or maybe it's something that makes you feel, well, oh my goodness, like look at that product. I think I will have a good experience having it, buying it. And perception engage the consumers to buy. So basically, it's the first connection, basically, right? Obviously, I'm talking here about the visuals, but the other things are equally important. When we talk about game, it's not just about the visuals. Like, it's about the gameplay, all other disciplines that are involved to create a game. But here, today, we will just pick up the art and the perception to discuss a little bit further. Okay, but we are not all the same person, right? We don't have the same tastes. We might have like different opinions or taste about things. So when it goes to understand the audience, we need to keep in mind that each individual can be represented by a different persona. We use persona, for example, in games to understand a group of players that is defined by different demographic, the player's ability, the motivation. So each persona is a combination of different factors. It helps us to identify what is the target audience of this product, okay? So maybe it's a different kind of region, a different age, a different motivation. So it's important, as we will see more later, it's important to keep in mind that when we are doing a product, we are creating a product, we are talking with different audience. Maybe each project will have a totally different audience. For example, the games that I showed to you, the Angry Birds Tennis and the Hard Hat Squad, they had totally different personas, right? One is like more casual, sport, arcade. It's like more relaxing kind of game. Something that you will take, I don't know, like I will open my phone, I will have like a 10 minutes, 15 minutes match, and that's it. Now, the 4X game is something more deep, you know, like you will be there, like following all the things that's happening in your game. You will send your units to, you know, battle and against other players, so you will like always keep tracking these things in the game, so different personas. So we need to understand and keep that in mind. So we talked so far about product. So we need to also look from that perspective when we are talking about game, right? Because in the end of the day, a game is a product, as a book, as an iPhone, as a console, as whatever. And I like to rephrase that because as artists, and I include myself on that, we have like a little trouble with that, right? We love to do art, and we have our personal taste doing art, right? We have our own references, we have our own style, and usually we like to keep that in our work. We want to people know our identity through our style, right? It's good when someone says, "Oh, this work, it's pretty much your work," because I could recognize by the style. And some industries are more permissive or allows more for you to use your own style. I remember when working with child book illustrations, the companies wanted my style. You know, the way that I painted with watercolor, the way that I used other techniques, they wanted that artist. So it's different. But in games, you are driven by other motivations. We are driven by the data, we are driven by the game goals, we are driven by limitations, budget, and many other things that we will cover here. But again, we need to understand the game as a product first, so we can align our perspective, understand like our place in this huge machine that is developing games. We are part of that. We have to collaborate with this machine. But at the end of the day, as again, it's a product. Okay? Cool. Now that we know visual play an important role, we need to discuss what is the visual style, right? So, what is visual style? Visual style is a group of elements that are equally important. So you have like the way, the shapes, the way you draw something. You have like colors, you have typography, you have layout. All of that are part of this process of defining a visual style. So each of these elements are ingredient that, depending on how you mix or how you change it, will give you a totally different recipe. Okay? Well, okay. I think we kind of know what is visual style, but it's important to do the exercise of looking at the industry to see how the visual styles behaves inside of the industry. And it's something that usually I like to say that for the artists that are joining on a specific journey, a specific industry, because usually people say, how I can build a portfolio for working with games or working with animation or working with children's books. I think it's important to do that exercise to see the industry. Okay, let's see what the industry has been doing. So by looking at the industry, I can kind of mimic. I mean, not copying, but I can understand the process, the mentality, the do and don'ts, those kind of things, you know? So this way you can kind of align your portfolio, your mentality to be more prepared to join these industries. So let's look at the industry. So here we have gathered like a bunch of references from like mostly the games that figures on the top 100 games in the mobile game scene, okay, mobile game industry. So we have like Subway Surfer, we have Brawl Stars, we have Coin Master. Coin Master is in the center, you notice, right? We have like Clash of Clans, we have Raid. I mean, and it's really nice to see the range of options, you know? So by looking at that, I could say that every artist has a place in the industry. If you like more realistic style, go. You have like in the final column there, you have games such as Raid, mobile, Call of Duty Mobile. If you like something more simplistic, you have like something around the Candy Crush, you have Roblox. So if you want something more kind of manga, kind of anime style, you have like, for example, AFK, like a huge market here in Asia, right? Like with this kind that uses this style. So, okay, so we have our we have a bunch of options inside of the industry, but the thing is, we need to understand where is our place. And here I kind of talking with two audience, right? Like one is the artist that maybe is trying to understand his or her place in the industry, but also I want to talk with the artists that are already in the industry and are already working in a game and needs to understand how to create a visual style for their game, okay? So, we can organize the visual styles into some categories, okay? Here I try to simplify. You will find more categories if you look at like some portals, some places where people has been talking about that. But here I try to simplify between these four categories. So we have here minimalistic or minimalism, cartoon, stylized, and realistic. So we'll dive in a little bit on each one of them. But here we can have like a really clear idea of what we have, the wide options that we have in the market. So let's start with minimalistic. Oh my goodness. So some key points, okay? There are a bunch of others, but this kind of approach, it emphasizes the simplicity and the functionality. So when we talked about these kind of style, we are also like looking at something that prioritize something more than the art. Some of the games are more about art. Some of the games are more about the gameplay. For example, this is a quite common style in the hyper-casual industry, okay? You might have seen a lot of ads also, the running ads, like the character that have to get a lane. So it's much more about the functionality. It's to hook you about the gameplay, not about the visuals, you know? Some of these ads, for example, they have a really, really simple visuals, but it's super fun. You look at it and you think, oh my goodness, I want to play at least, I don't know, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know, half an hour, I want to play this game. So the hook point is different. So yeah, it focuses more on gameplay mechanics. Maybe the gameplay mechanics, it's something else, you know, something super unique that you want to try yourself. This style also promotes like a more resource and cost efficient. So it's easier to produce, right? It's easier, it's faster. So when I should pick up this kind of game, when you have in your game those goals, you know, you have maybe a low budget, maybe you need to ship fast this product, maybe you like it, maybe you like this style. And when I say minimalistic, it's not related to be something bad or something worse. No, no, no. For example, I really like the Survivor IO style. It's really clean, you know, like looking at especially the core gameplay, it's quite important because it's super chaotic, right? So having these simple style, it's really, really important because things are super smaller in the screen. Same, for example, for the Angry Birds, the original game, right? You have all the small elements, so you have to understand the full picture. So it's really important. Move ahead, we had the cartoon. The cartoon, it has like an appealing for like a broader audience. Because usually you will see, like I put here like a Bronze Star example, that will resonate with like a specific audience. Remember the personas? But it could be also something that, for example, we have Royal Match. We have, I don't know, Merge Mansion. We have a bunch of other games that uses this kind of cartoon style that will capture a specific audience that likes these kind of, okay, I want a little bit more details, I want a little bit more personality, but I don't like super realistic games. I don't like more heavy loaded visuals on my screen. So it's a good balance between like what is the minimalistic and what is more stylized, okay? So clean visuals, super cute, fun. It's kind of childish, but it can conserve something that aims for more a broader audience, even more people with the age of like 30 or 40 or something. Then we have the stylized. Stylized usually introduce a little bit more of the visual fidelity, right? Maybe the anatomy is not so cartoonish, not like this proportion of like a big head, a small body, but here you will have a little bit more anatomy, but still, it's not realism. It's not really into like convey each detail. Here, in the Rise of Kingdoms, we have, for example, the characters are super unique, right? And here it's like a more, I forgot that I have the laser thing. Here, it's a little more convoluted, like complex, but still, if you look at each of these buildings, they will still have the stylized. For example, when we were working in the 4X game at Rovio, we had to play a lot of those games. So you have, for example, the Rise of the Kingdoms was like one of the main references, but we had like a bunch of games, other games that were much more deep in detail. And we have the realism, that it achieves a high level of visual fidelity. It creates like a strong immersion with the player, usually players that like, for example, shooter games, Call of Duty mobile games, they want to feel more inside the game, more part of the game. So that's when this kind of style is really important. And engage players that value more the complexity. Here we have like just some examples of games that are spread through these different categories. So we have like the same games here. For example, Clash of Clans. It's something between the cartoon and stylized. Like it's not so childish. You have like more squarish shapes. You know, like the jaws and the characters are not so round. You know, like it conserves some kind of stylized aspect to it. And here is an interesting chart or infographic that shows us like some nice things. For example, in the casual, by the way, like here, like it's from the Game Refinery, and this one is from Geek Lab. But for example, here, we can see in the casual that 77% it's more on the cartoon style. Once just 22 is realistic. On the flip side, look at like mid-core games, it's much more realistic. Sport and racing even more. You know, like because here usually the people want to, again, feel more immersed in the game. If you play FIFA, if you play some racing game, you want to feel like the inside of the game. You want to feel like the graphics super high and the visual fidelity is super strong. And here, oh, sorry, here we can have some nice information as well. For example, between the driving, the sport, card games, here is more segmented, you know, like the difference between, they included even like pixels. As I said, I tried to simplify a little bit. But quite interesting information that you can get from these portals. Okay, and just to finalize the thing about the styles, having a style related to a specific genre is not, I mean, it's not mandatory to use that specific style to a specific genre. For example, here I put like 3 different games in the shooter genre. So you have like Pixel Gun, that's pretty much like kind of Minecraft style. We have here the T3 Arena, by the way, super nice game. And we have Call of Duty Mobile. 3 of them in the shooter genre, but quite different in visuals. So, to finish, I will go over some key points that we need to keep in mind when picking a style for our project. These things are quite important to keep in mind when doing that. So, I want to talk about the 3 key questions, okay? What's your product? I mean, let me take a pot of water. What is your product? What you can do? Oh, no, that's fine, that's fine. And what do players want? Okay, so what is your product? Remember, like game is a product. Let's keep that in mind. What is your product? What, in the end of the day, you have to deliver. as artists, which is part of the machine of creating games, you know? The game development not just about artists, it's about like everyone, game designers, UI artists, you know, tech artists, business side is really important, Q&A, all these groups are part of this engine, okay? Okay, what's your product? First thing, blueprint. When we need to start, let's say that you're starting a project, or maybe you're in the beginning of the project, or maybe you just join a project, okay? The project already have like some style, like it's maybe even a live game. But the thing is, you have to understand your game. You have to understand like what is the game goals, what is the target audience, what is the budget for this game, what is the timeline. All these elements will give you the direction that you have to choose when doing your style. The worst thing that you could do is like sit in your table and just start to draw without looking at all these like full picture. And also, you have to connect with the other teams, you know? Maybe you have like a visual idea in your mind, but maybe it will not be possible. Like maybe someone from the dev side will say, hey, hold on, it's not possible. Are you crazy? Like, come on, it will cost a lot. So having this big picture, it's really, really important to understand your product. Look at the market. You will not reinvent the wheel, okay? But you can improve it. Don't copy, improve it. I know that like nowadays, the mobile game industry, it's really huge. And by the way, I'm talking more about the mobile game industry because it's from I have my experience. But most of those things can be applied in the indie industry or like AAA games industry, okay? So really important to see, to look at the market, to see like the benchmarks, how they are doing, what they are doing, you know? If everyone is doing something that, I don't know, blue, okay, why doing it green? You can take the risks, okay? As I put there, innovation versus risk. Okay, that's totally fine. Everyone is doing blue, you want to do green, that's totally fine. But you have to keep that in mind. Maybe choosing green will lead you to a product that will not be profitable, okay? Maybe your managers, the product manager or whatever, they will hate you because of your decision. The thing is, it's a balance, you know? We want to create more innovate and unique styles, and I think it's totally good. I think it's important for the industry. I think having just a copy and paste of all the games it's not something nice, but we need to keep track on what's working and what's not working, okay? So looking at the market, it's really, really important. Visual ammunition. This is one interesting. You see, like all these processes, they come much earlier than I start to draw something. You start to draw something. It's really important to be prepared, to be really having all these informations around you before developing something. I know that it's hard for us artists, right? Like, because we want to draw, you know, like I just want to do some nice concepts to put in my art station and things like that, but we need to think first. Always things first. And here, it's quite important to have those visual references in your mind before doing something. So collecting those visual references. Maybe at the start of your project, you will have like a, I don't know, like a mood board. I mean, mood boards are really important even along the process of the gaming, right? Like maybe you will start using a mood board to set a visual style for the entire game, and then you can start to create like mood boards for every specific new feature, promotion, or whatever in your game, right? It's quite important to play similar games. I mean, even as Alvaro said yesterday, it's important you play your game, come on. You need to see like how your game is behaving, but here, specifically, it's important to play similar games to see how they are doing. Again, it's not about copying, it's about like understanding what this genre is offering to the players. So maybe you will get a nice idea playing a competitor game, but also maybe you will get a good idea playing a totally different game. Nowadays, a lot of games in the mobile gaming industry has been pretty much into mini games. You know, mini games has been introduced a lot inside of the game. You have the core game, but you have the meta side of the game with a lot of mini games. And most of those mini games, they come from different gameplays. You know, for example, you have Fishdom. Fishdom, like, is a game that you have like different mini games inside of it, like the Merge Mansion. You have the Merge core game, but you have like the pull the pin kind of gameplay. You have like other types of gameplay inside of the game. So maybe most of those ideas came from people playing in other games. Okay, so it's pretty important to keep playing to feel aligned with the market. And again, align the vision with your team. You need to keep all the time, like if you have like a vision, more consolidated vision, you have keep sharing it with your team. What you can do? So, important to define the constraints, align the expectation with the teams. So here it's quite important again, because we as artists, we want to go, we can go crazy, right? Doing our ideas. So it's really important. Okay, what is the style of the game? I mean, like in terms of, is it 3D? Is it 2D? Is it like a hybrid between two? Can I, if it's 3D, it's something like rendered sprites, or it's real-time 3D? If real-time 3D, can I model this character in low-poly version? Will it look good? So we need to have, again, like all these informations around you, or seek for this information to base our decisions when doing and deciding for the visual for our games. So in that moment, it's important also try to define some do and don'ts. It's not like a deep document, as Alvaro said yesterday about the UI, but it's something like starting with like some understanding on where you can go and where not. Prepare your skill set. It's important to you build a pipeline around your strengths, okay? I put there, use your special powers. So if you have a team, or if even you included, that you are great on doing 2D arts, like amazing painters, like digital painters and things like that, is that correct? Going for a 3 pipeline? You know, even I'm talking here also with art directors and art leads. So it's always important to keep in mind to understand like where we can go. We have to consider also like what is like more low effort, more high effort to produce, because maybe now you're super excited, you know, like, oh my goodness, I want to do that. Like, look at how detailed or like how complex this process is. But on the go, like after 2-3 months of developing in this style that you made, which is like a more high effort, the team will not be able to continue producing in the same level. And then the quality will decrease, and the players will notice, and you will start to miss the deadlines and things like that. So it's quite important even to be realistic, you know? I know what I have here, what is the tools that I have, the teams that I have, so let's align with that. Believe in the process. It's quite important. It's quite important. You need to go step by step, okay? Here, basically, is 3 main parts of this process. So, first, you have to go more loose, you know, explore many ideas. If you have time for that, like go exploring, put your team or yourself, creating lots of concepts. So, easy, loose, fast, rough concepts. So, among of these, all ideas will be able to pick up 1 or 2. We need to remember that we are visual problem solvers, okay? Again, product. We are not like just, in the end of the day, the game is not ours. It's not just about, I mean, you feel part of the game, obviously, but it's not about like my portfolio. It's about what how I can collaborate and how I can help the game to improve, and what are the things that I can help to fix, how I can improve this game. So we have to keep in mind that. And at the end of this whole process, creating some target visuals are really important, even to align with the rest of the team. Remember, we need to keep connected with the other departments, the other disciplines. So having a visual target is quite important for that. So having a visual target, I can talk with the production side, the business side, the dev side. So they will look at it like, and I can ask, hey, can we do that? Can we have that? Can we afford that? Those kind of things, okay? And finally, what do players want? Because the main thing is about the player. You can do all this process, and at the end of the day, the player will not like your product, okay? And the funny thing about like comparing the animation industry and the gaming industry that fascinates me is because in animation, basically, you have to do all the product. You go from script, storyboarding, characters, environment, things, and then you ship your movie. Your movie will be in the cinemas, the theaters. Your movie will be in the streamings. And then you will get the feedback from the audience. Obviously, you can do some test before, but it's totally different, right? And the game is super nice because you have like soft launch, you have like some beta tests and things like that, where you can collaborate with the community and the audience to help to improve your own game, right? So, important, keep track on the new trends. Usually, game development can take a long period of time, 3 years, 4 years, and maybe among these years working in this project, things will change, right? Like the game industry is quite volatile. You can have like something that is super trendy now, but tomorrow, no one will care about it. Like though people will prefer to play something else. So it's really important to keep track on it. Run like A/B test. It's quite important to me. Also, you can get review from the player. For example, the player clouds that you put your game, like a vertical slice of your game available for the players. So a small portion of players will play your game, and then you will be able to get feedback to improve your game. So it's really important as well. Well, if you manage to balance, if you manage to go through all this process, and if you manage to get the right decisions of every and each step of this process, maybe you will attract the attention of your audience. And as same as we are in the store, we will go to the product and we will reach to the product. Maybe in the Apple Store or in the Google Store or any other game store, the player will decide to buy your game, to download your game. And again, this is the main goal of our role as artists, be part of this whole team doing games. So I want to thank you for this opportunity. It was a pleasure to be here sharing a little bit of this. I hope I could share a bit of this importance of visual styles in games and understanding the game as a product. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Andre. Great talk. We have a few minutes. We can take some questions. So anyone who wants to ask something? All right.
So, hello, sir.
Hello.
I wanted to ask you, how would we approach the players?
How I would approach the players in terms of like getting feedback?
Yeah. If I wanted to show my new game to the players.
Oh, yeah. You have some, we have some platforms to do that, right? For example, in this A/B testing thing, you have, for example, platforms that can create some fake ads or fake Apple Store pages that will measure the click rate of the player. So this ad will be in the Instagram, will be in the Facebook, and then you can measure by if the player will be attracted or not to your game. Also, as I said, like this game test cloud, I forgot specifically the name, but basically is the kind of platform where you can put like the small version of your game, and then by doing that, you will allow like a small portion of players to play your game, and they will give you feedback. Some of these platforms even allow the player to record videos while playing. So mainly those kinds of platforms. And obviously, you can even, for example, as we have here in the expo area, you can show the players your game by participating in these events like the IGDC and many others. So yeah, I think these are the main platforms that you can expose the players for your game. Thank you for the question.
Over there. By the way, this is the hall for the visual art track, so we'll have the talks in continuity. The next one will also start after the questions are over. Someone raised the hand over there. All right.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Really grateful to be part of this session, and thank you for the talk. I would like to know your creative process in the initial stage. Is there any medium or any method that you prefer?
Great question. Well, I think, first of all, I think it's not just a process, my process. I think it's like the team process, right? Like I'm constantly aligned with my art director, which is Shiraj, but basically we try to gather all the informations that we can from the product team about the game goals. So everything that is fundamental for this game, it's important to have handy at the first time. Once you have everything, I mean, not everything, but whatever information you can use to guide your visual direction, then you can follow this process, like start to gather some references, look at the competitors. So all these all these steps will give you more clarity about your decisions, you know? So we start to create like mood boards. We usually use Miro as a tool to do that. So we gather there like a bunch of references. And as I said, not just about the overall visual of the game, but every new feature, every new campaign, like a promotion, we do that. We like to align with all the other disciplines, business side, UI side, UX side. So we'll have like a clear platform where to work. So from that we can create, you know. But it's really important to have these fundamental first.
Also, how often do you use the traditional mediums? Do you have it in your workflow?
Wow, I have to say that it's been a while since the last time I used the traditional one. I think most of the teams and the projects might use like the digital because like it's more faster and easier to produce, right? I mean, maybe some projects that require some kind of style. Let's say that I think there is a game, Children's of something, that is kind of like more colorful style. So in that case, it will require you go a little bit and test maybe some texture, but it's like more in the kind of indie industry. In the mobile games, basically, I think most of the teams goes more digital instead of like traditional tools. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Hi.
you. Thank you.
First of all, thanks for a wonderful session.
Thank you.
See, I'm from corporate company, okay? So we develop the content and we develop some games also. So if my audience are like different age groups, like senior associates and the Gen A, Gen Y. So when I have the various, the target audience, so what kind of games you suggest, especially in the corporate world? Like, is it go with the real stake or the simple games or cartoons?
Good question as well. Well, I think is, I mean, it's important to align many things in the game, but I would say that cartoon style, as I said here, like it's easy for a wider audience. For example, those games. Let's pick up the Royal Match. Royal Match. There are like many younger people playing Royal Match because I don't know, it's fun, or even Candy Crush. Like it was like a phenomenon. It's easy, you know. Like it's not about just about the art, but it's also about the gameplay, right? But you have like also older people playing the game. So I would say something around the more casual, something more, something like that. But it will also depend of other factors. For example, gameplay is a really strong element to consider. As I said, like about the hyper casuals. The hyper casuals are especially connected to the gameplay. It's super fun. Maybe it will capture like a broader audience as well. So it will depend. And it's when the persona comes, and it's a really important process to understand the personas and the audience for your game. So yeah. I think it's a collaboration of many factors. Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, Andre, great talk again.
Thank you.
Just wanted to add that how you mentioned you having some conflict with devs while creating styles. Similar thing we faced, like how do you come to common ground with devs so that you can diffuse the situation from what product gives you, and sometimes the tech is not that great so that you can push it, but how do you come in common ground so that you can do it?
I think limitation is not something bad, you know. Like I think from the limitation you can create really unique and powerful visuals. So I think we need to keep in mind that if there's limitation in our game because of something related to the dev side, it's not something that we should take as something bad. You know, I think you need to understand the limitations, and again, we are problem solvers. So okay, we cannot do maybe the 3D that I was expecting to do. We cannot like push the style further because of that reason or that reason, but that's fine. What I can create. So, so answering your question, I think communication is the key, right? And we need to understand and work with the tools that we have available. So that's why it's quite important to always be connected with all the other areas to find a common ground, you know? Otherwise, you will be fighting with the dev side, with the business side. Because, see, for example, we have that situation quite often. Maybe you want to do, like you're working in a company and you're doing, I don't know, like a game, like a merge game or like some casual game, you know? And you like say to your boss or like the product side, hey, why not like we do like a Zelda game? Come on. You know, like there are many reasons why you're not doing a Zelda game. So we have to be realistic, as I mentioned. You need to be realistic and understand what the tools that you have to work. So finding this middle ground is quite important.
All right, we are only able to take one more question. I saw more hands. Maybe Andre can be a bit around toward the door, and if someone wants to grab him for something more. But I can take one question. I saw that one as the first one, so you can do a bit later.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I heard you talking about the art trends, right? So I wanted to know, how do you exactly study the art trends and how do you follow it along in your new projects that you like start making, right?
Yeah, good question as well. I think the important thing about the trends is understand how profitable those games are, right? Like, obviously, there are trends that take some time to become popular, that will strongly affect the revenue of a game. But basically, particularly, I like to look at those Game Refinery top 200 games and see what they are doing, you know? Because the point is, we have a lot of games, for example, nowadays that became a really huge success. So these games have something, you know? What is this thing that those games have? So again, that's why it's really important to keep looking at the industry, the games that you have in the industry, and also not looking at it, but playing it. Because by doing that, maybe you will understand and you realize, oh, they are doing that. This mechanic, this visual, this feature, the way that they are doing like promotions or something like that. So by doing that, I think you will start to capture the new things. Okay?
All right, this was the last question we were able to take. We have to now get ready for the next session. But thank you so much, Andre.
Thank you.
Amazing
Thank
talk.
you.